this video, we're going to be talking, of course, about Call Me Master, Inner Demons, the new box set from Big Finish, which has just been released yesterday as I'm recording this. I listened to all three stories of this set yesterday, similarly to what I did with the Fugitive Doctor set that was released back in January. Of course, this is the first release in the Call Me Master range. We're going to have another set later on in the year, which I believe I've already got on pre-order as well. I think I got the two sets in a bundle. Yeah, as I say, I listened to all three of these stories yesterday and I had a lot of fun. So we'll get into all of them. Of course, these stories all star Sacha Dhawan as the Master, the producer for this set, and presumably this range is Heather Challands. The script editor was Matt Fitton. These were all directed by Helen Goldwyn, who does a lot of directing for Big Finish. And so, without further ado, basically, let's crack on talking about these three stories, starting with Self-Help, which was written by Robert Valentine, who I believe also wrote the first story in the Fugitive Doctor set. I might be wrong on that, but I think that was him. And this was fun. It basically, one thing about this set that kind of runs through it is they kind of have really looked at this version of the Master and tried to explore aspects of him that are there on TV and kind of expand on those. So there's a lot of the Master playing roles and having disguises and really immersing himself in these characters that he's playing. It kind of happens in all three of these stories. So in this first story, the Master arrives. He meets this hermit who is this kind of a man with a lot of wisdom and teachings, and in classic Master fashion he kind of assumes this guy's identity, and then ends up with a group of kind of travellers on their sort of luxury spaceship as they travel towards a place that has a thing with a power that the Master wants, and the kind of the specifics of the thing that he wants and what that is kind of not really the point. That's just kind of the basic premise for what then the story becomes. And this was interesting. It really delves into this Master being very unsure of himself. There's a self-doubt there. He makes a big mistake in this story that he struggles to even admit initially. He just refuses to believe that he is capable of making mistakes, but he does, and it affects him. And it's a real kind of a character study for this Master. He kind of opens up to these people because, without kind of spoiling it, as far as he's concerned, he's going to kill them all eventually anyway, so what does it matter? Because it's kind of, these people are kind of a guru. The main kind of guy on this ship is kind of this guru who uses the teachings of this great Zenith character, which is who the Master has assumed the identity of, and so the Master kind of goes to therapy a little bit, which was interesting. This kind of pretty definitively confirms that he is post-Missy, which I think was always kind of the intention anyway, and I think it's just kind of the nature of show and the nature of the character, as much as lots of people would like Missy's story to be the end for that character, that's not really how Doctor Who works as a kind of as a franchise, I suppose you would say, and how the Master works as a character within that. And this basically confirms it. You could probably still kind of read it as being before Missy if you really wanted, but I think the intention is fairly clear. But this was fun. The characters were fun. The Master has a lot of, throughout all of these stories, the Master, certainly the first two anyway, the Master's having a lot of fun, deliberately messing with people. There's narration in this which is very interesting. The Master narrates it, and yeah, this is kind of the most. This is a story that is really kind of from his perspective. The other two are from other characters' perspectives, and he is a part of that story, and I think that is probably a little bit better. I think it's more interesting to find out what the Master's plan is through the story. I think it kind of changes the story when you go in knowing what he's trying to achieve. But Self-Help was fun, and it was an interesting look at this Master, and it was a really kind of a bold statement that, you know, the creative team behind this series are really interested in exploring this version of the Master particularly, and kind of diving into things that are kind of present on TV but are not necessarily the focus of the stories that he's in. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Next, there is The Clockwork Swan by Georgia Cook, which I think might be my favourite of this set. It's certainly the most fun. This follows a kind of futuristic theatre group. It's kind of this hologram theatre, and the main character in this basically is a character called Nyseth, who is played by Madison Bullymont, who is, as far as I can tell, non-binary. Both the character and the actor in the story, they are referred to with they/them pronouns. In the behind the scenes, the actor is referred to with they/them pronouns. So that's a bit of fun. That's nice. And Nyseth is an usher who has had to take a shift that they don't really want in rehearsals for this play that this group of actors is doing, and then people start turning up dead. But don't worry, because there's a mysterious detective who just happens to be in the audience, and he's called LeMaitre, and it's the Master doing a ridiculous French accent, and really hamming it up, and it's a lot of fun. You can tell that Sacha is really having fun with it. There are moments where the Master just drops the accent. He kind of slips in and out of it, and he'll just go back to his own voice, which is a bit of fun. It's probably not 100%. It's not brilliant French accent. It's not awful, to be fair, but it's very big, and there are certainly probably, you know, vowel sounds and syllable sounds that are dropped and don't quite work. But it's not meant to be a real accent, so it doesn't really matter. And this was very interesting because you kind of experience the story through the character of Nyseth, who kind of assists LeMaitre as he attempts to work out who is the killer. And obviously, the Master is the killer. That's not a spoiler, is it? Come on. But you're always kind of waiting for, what is he doing though? Why and how is he killing these people? Why is he here? What does he want? describe in the behind the scenes is almost kind of horror-esque, in the sense of he becomes very just really horrible and cruel, as the Master often is. There are a couple of moments throughout this set where the Master is very cool. There are a couple of very dark moments, quite darkly humorous moments. There's a moment in Self-Help where one of the characters dies, and the reaction of not just the Master, but some of the other characters is so kind of darkly funny. You laugh, but you feel bad for laughing. It's weird, but it's kind of the humour the Master should have, and yeah, you get that a little bit in the Clockwork Swan, and so I really like this one. It's the most fun, because you just get to enjoy Sacha doing this outrageous accent, and it's and also it's fun. You are still kind of, it's a murder mystery and you know who the killer is, but you're trying to figure out why and how, and that's fun. And then the final story is called The Good Life, by McCormack. Again, another one which is not told from the Master's perspective. In this, we have a character called Elta, who travels to this island where there are kind of older people and teachers and people of wisdom, because she wants to learn, but no one will teach her except for one man who becomes a teacher, who of course is the Master. This was very kind of somber and kind of moody. It's very quiet, and the Master seems very calm and very nice, and it's weird. In the behind the scenes, they talk about what if there was a situation where the Master could choose to be a good person, which I think is very interesting, especially considering that, if this Master is post-Missy, which I believe that he is, I think that is an interesting thing, because he, at this point, he's kind of been like, no, I am evil, and that's what I'm good for, that's what I'm good at. And there's this situation where, what if you could just be kind, and you could just be nice? But of course, there is trouble brewing, and there is, Elta's family and the people from where she comes from are becoming very aggressive and violent, and there are, the weather is there are lots of storms, and people are being made homeless, and these terrible things are starting to happen, and naturally it is because of the Master. But this was really interesting. A really interesting performance from Sacha, who is playing a much more subdued, his Master is a lot of things on TV, and I really like his version of the Master. But one thing that his Master is subdued really at all. But he is in this story, and that's a lot of fun, and it's another kind of aspect of the Master kind of really immersing himself in these roles and giving Sacha Dhawan the opportunity to really play around with the character and experiment and do lots of different things. This was really interesting. It kind of, the specifics of what was going on, as they revealed in the end, kind of bounced off me a little bit, but there's a real mood to this one, which I really enjoyed. And so, those are the three stories. I think if you like Sacha's Master on TV, as I did, I think you're going to really love this set. Again, if you're, the reason I kind of wanted to talk about this and the Fugitive Doctor set that came out last month. Is, if you were maybe considering these stories and you wanted to get a sense of maybe what the stories were before listening to them, because of course these things come at a cost, and it is a commitment. But so I want to kind of give my honest recommendations for these things, and I had a lot of fun with this. I enjoyed it more than the Fugitive Doctor set, and I like that set, but as I kind of talked about in that video, it was not really kind of what I was expecting or what I wanted from the Fugitive Doctor. Whereas with the Master, I didn't really know I didn't have any particular expectations, and I didn't really know what I wanted. I was more open to let's just see, what I wanted was more of this Master, and that's what I got. And it felt very true to this version of the character. And when these sets were both announced way back when, the Master stuff was what I was kind of always more interested about, because I liked the Fugitive Doctor on TV when she was introduced, but I responded much more. I really loved that Master when he was introduced, and so yeah, I was always kind of a little bit more in anticipation of this set. And for me personally, I think I got more out of this than the Fugitive Doctor set, which was not bad, but I kind of had to shift my expectations and kind of, if I was going to go back to that, I think I would enjoy it more because I kind of know what the deal is there. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. We've got another set coming later on in the year. I'm not sure exactly when, so I will be, as I say, that's on pre-order already, so I'll be doing another video talking about that when that releases. I'll probably look at the other Fugitive Doctor set as well. I'm also definitely going to be investing in the 13th Doctor series of audios, and I think probably I'm going to be getting the 9th Doctor and Rose stuff. That was a lot of fun. That was very exciting to have that announcement, because I was intrigued by the 9th Doctor on Big Finish, but the fact that it was kind of before Series 1, it always felt a bit odd to me, especially when you throw in a lot of, old monsters and companions and characters. As good as a lot of those stories are, as far as I've heard, I think the fact that it's the 9th Doctor and Rose, and they're doing the kind of the series, the kind of one release, rather than the box sets format, that intrigues me much more. And I think it's going to be alternating months with the 9th Doctor and the 13th Doctor. So I think I'm going to be diving into that series as well. So lots of great Big Finish to look forward to. Quite a lot to look forward to in general. I've got season 7, which I'll be doing a video on that shortly, because that is about to be released imminently or delivered or so on. And so hopefully I'll get a video for that up very soon, unboxing that, and of course we've got the confirmation of the new series start date in April, so yeah, lots to look forward to, so stay tuned, but thank you very much for watching, thank you for listening, and let me know if you listen to this, these stories. Do you want to, are you kind of on the fence about this set? I'd be very interested to hear what people think, but aside from that, of course, as I say, thank you for watching. Please like this video if you did like it, subscribe if you haven't already, if you like Doctor Who, if you like ASMR, that would be fantastic, and I will see you